And look, I want to say thank you to all the people who contact me when we get into the story. And I think it would be fair to say we cover the issue of anti-Semitism in New Zealand and the issue of the conflict in Gaza probably differently than most other mainstream media, who, because they are inherently left-leaning, have a natural bias towards Hamas and the terrorists. We don't. We just call it like we see it. And okay, my descriptor of this as a Jew hunt might sound brutal and jarring to the ears, but I believe that's what John Minto is launching. From the Israel Institute of New Zealand, David Cumin joins us by phone now. David, welcome to the platform. Am I wrong to call this a Jew hunt?
I think reasonable minds can probably differ over the exact wording that's used, but effectively that's kind of what it is. Neil Scott, John's right-hand man in the PSNA, has defended against that online because, of course, he recognises that Muslims serve in the Israeli army as well. So I'm not sure if he's trying to undo all the work that they did, trying to say that it's an apartheid state, but that's his defence anyway. They're also after Muslims,
Okay.
or Christians, I imagine.
For those who haven't seen it, and I don't recommend people go on to Mr. Minto's Facebook page to see it, what does the advertisement, the poster, the banner that he's put up essentially say?
He's created what he calls a genocide hotline, and he's asking people to dob in Israelis. And so that he can go, or he and his gang can go and tell them that they're not welcome here. So it's essentially a hotline to harass Israelis.
It is almost, it is inciting. And a group of 72 church people have come out and said it's inciting people to harm and harass others.
It is. It's inciting people to put Minto's gang onto harassing others. He's not suggesting that you do it yourself. He's savouring that for himself and his closest allies like Neil Scott.
Yeah, and look, this what's this group called again? What does he self-style himself as? The Centre or the Committee for something?
The Palestine Solidarity Network Aotearoa.
Okay, which is just him and Neil in a bank account, right?
Well, yeah, I think there's a few other people, and they've got a number of splinter groups around the country, and some online groups, one of which Labour MP Duncan Webb has been a long-time member of.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Good Lord. Well, David, obviously this is a concern, and I don't think any reasonable person can look at what Minto's done and not think it's some sort of putative pogrom. I don't think it'll take off in New Zealand because I think we're better people than that, David. Have you had any complaints? Have you made any complaints to authorities about this?
Yes, I think the Human Rights Commission is the place to lay complaints, and anyone who thinks similarly should do so. My understanding is that they have had numerous complaints, and so given that the last Human Rights Commissioner actually was very friendly with Mr. Minto and agreed to consult him on matters of anti-Semitism, that might not have been any action last time. But I think the new commissioners are reasonable, sensible people, and I'm hoping that they're going to do their jobs.
Well, Stephen Rainbow, this is his first big test. And I must say, we had Melissa Darby, the new Race Relations Commissioner, on last week. And many listeners were very encouraged by her attitude, and she may well become involved in this.
She is excellent. That interview was excellent. And I note that in that interview she said one of the major tests is whether it would be offensive if it was another group of people. And so I put it to you that if there was a poster saying, track down transsexuals because they're grooming children and let us know about it so we can go and tell them they're not welcome, there may be many more comments in the public sphere. Unfortunately, or fortunately, Simon Court is the only MP that's spoken out at the moment, so good on him.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I agree with your previous statement as well. The amount of support that there has been has truly been overwhelming. There's a bunch of nasty comments and the usual slurs and the mudslinging, but there have been open offers of free accommodation and hospitality around the country for Israelis. So I agree. I think most Kiwis see this for what it is. Unfortunately, not only are some MPs aligned with PSNA, but John also got meetings with MFAT and the Super Fund, and he, for some reason, people take him seriously in those echelons of our politics.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. He's got any credibility left when he pulls a stunt like this. Can I ask you, David, is New Zealand a popular destination for young Israelis?
I think New Zealand's a wonderful tourist destination for anyone. But yes, it is on the list of places that young Israelis go, particularly after they've finished their military service and need to, get out and see the world. A lot of them go to India and Thailand and Australia and New Zealand. Yeah.
All right. Well, so there's a bit of a trail or a history of people coming here, particularly after they've done their military service. Is that because we have hitherto been perceived as a relatively safe destination?
Well, I mean, it's the same reason that anyone else comes to New Zealand. It's safe, it's democratic, it's beautiful. That's kind of the major one. There's lots to see and do, and it's all in the one country. You can go skiing one day and then up to the beach the next day and have a wonderful, great time. And generally, Kiwis are absolutely hospitable, wonderful, kind, caring, interesting people. So why wouldn't anyone want to come here? And let's also be clear that military service in Israel is compulsory.
Yes, I was going to make that point.
So it's not just the soldiers that come here. These are citizens who have done their compulsory military service and come down because, most Kiwis after high school, or a lot of Kiwis after high school do an OE, for example. And this is the equivalent. Come down, travel the world, have some fun, see a few things, and then get on with the rest of your life.
Yeah. David, meantime, a ceasefire of sorts in Gaza, some hostages released today, and I made the point that, hostages are being released by Hamas, prisoners are being released by Israel. Your views on the current state of affairs? Do you think a ceasefire will hold, or is it going to break down at some stage?